for all of this. And I wanted to ask, or if you could maybe speak to finding the balance between paying attention to the news, whether it's what's happening with the virus or what's happening in politics, finding the balance between being informed and yet not contributing to the negativity just by being informed. So I'm a mental health counselor, and I'm a yoga teacher and a yoga student. And so my connections with people who are my teachers and who I teach, there are so many different perspectives on whether or not to participate in being informed with the news.
Well, it's a great question, and there's no one answer to it, just the way there's no one way to cultivate mindfulness. And so we all have to, in some sense, find our own comfort zone and also learn from, say, overdoing it. So if we're overdosing on the news can actually kind of infiltrate your heart and your brain to such an extent that you drive yourself crazy. And you can become addicted to knowing all this stuff that's actually going to not help at all. On the other hand, putting your head in the sand and not paying any attention is probably not a good, long-term solution. The fact is that a lot of us, at least in the United States at this moment, are on a sort of enforced meditation retreat. And so anything that we can use to kind of regulate and modulate input and output can be really placed in the service of cultivating these deep dimensions of the heart and mind and body. Since you're a yoga teacher, there's no separation. I mean, if yoga is not mindful, it's not yoga. I mean, it's like what are you going to do? Yoga on autopilot just for your body? So the awareness is what's absolutely fundamental. And so we can be aware of like what the impulse is. First thing in the morning, you wake up, you check your phone. Do you want to actually eat that kind of diet right away? Or could we actually decide, I'm going to really make this time, this enforced social distancing, a meditation retreat, and I will set the calendar and the schedule for the day, maybe even wake up early and not go for the phone or not go for the newspaper right away, not even go for food right away, and maybe do it even before the kids wake up because it's that important. And you don't even have to get out of bed, but to actually rest in bed in awareness, in the corpse pose, if you know anything about yoga, the hardest pose they say for of all the 84,000 yoga poses, rest in the corpse pose, which requires you to, in some sense, die to the future. That's why it's called the corpse. You're dead. Die to the past, and therefore wake up to the present moment. And if you're still alive in this moment, which you are for now, then to actually cultivate this domain of being awake already, so that when we wake up and we can say, oh yeah, I'm awake, we don't mean, oh yeah, I'm on autopilot already and my feet haven't even gotten out of bed. Why not finish the job and be fully awake? Then get out of bed, sit on your meditation cushion at some other point, or do your yoga. These are the ways to actually not just get through it, but to actually cultivate health in the deepest of ways, not just for yourself, but for anybody who you're living with, your family, friends. You can do yoga together. You can do yoga online together. There are lots of teachers teaching yoga out there every day, many of them for free. I mean, it's actually beautiful, or for just a donation. There's all sorts of beauty that's arising on the web that's actually pointing us towards taking a certain degree of mindful, I don't want to say control, but mindfully, in some sense, asserting ourselves to regulate, like we're tuning a guitar string, how much we want to deal with the information overload. And also, we should ask ourselves, how can I contribute to reducing the suffering, not just in me and myself or my small family group, but the world? And to whatever extent we are capable of that, doing that. And I just want to say that I'm only one of thousands of people out there who are spontaneously offering whatever it is that they have to offer. There are tons of meditation teachers out there doing this, tons of MBSR teachers. And I don't know how many of you tuning in are MBSR teachers, but I do know it's an awful lot. And I just want to say, deep bow to you. This is not about one person putting this out. This is about all of us taking responsibility, because we're all cells of the one body of the planet, of the body politic of humanity. And this is a lesson that we need to learn. We need to ask ourselves, what is the lesson we need to learn? And then in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, if we're not dead tomorrow or in 3 weeks or whatever, to actually embody those lessons, because the next time around it may be, not as simple as the way it is this time around, and it isn't simple this time around. But maybe this is a kind of profound wake-up call for the planet, and that will be one of the themes that we will continue to marinate in, if you will, over time as these daily gatherings continue to unfold, if people are still interested in doing this kind of thing after a week or so. Because really it's for life in every sense of that. This is a life sentence but it's also the adventure of a lifetime. So thank you for that question.
Thank you.
And you are in the driver's seat, so you regulate it, and then the world will teach you about the decisions that you make, and then you can modulate, just like with yoga. You modulate, and you sort of do whatever is required to navigate through the ups and downs of the yoga sequence and your body and what it's capable of doing, so that every single one of us is in the driver's seat. This is not a catechism that we learn and then follow some leader. This is like each one of us is the leader, and that's really the future of humanity, as far as I can see it, is that kind of embodied wakefulness that requires all hands on deck all the time, each in our own way.